What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best WNBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong and got 21 right, which is a 92% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 92% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 92% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $130 just yesterday, and another member who won $1,104 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Bryant152 who said I've got 2 back-to-back wins, thanks, and also shouts out to PandaX1482, is there room for a new member? So yes, there is room, definitely check out the link in the description, but shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick, and when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Kelsey Mitchell, and this one is for 20.5 points, and this one is for less. Now looking at Kelsey Mitchell, we actually have seen her go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at these 5 games, we see on August 18th, faced off against Connecticut Sun, had 38 points there. August 23rd, faced off against Minnesota Lynx, had 27 points. August 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had 26 points. August 27th, faced off against Seattle Storm, had 21 points. And then August 30th, faced off against Los Angeles Sparks and had 12 points there. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at Kelsey Mitchell, we have actually seen her go on the under in 1 out of the last 5, and her average over the last 5 is 24.8. Now, as you all know, when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell and Indiana Fever, they have themselves actually a really good matchup against none other than Golden State Valkyries. Now, Golden State Valkyries, both teams are very well. Now, looking at Indiana Fever first of all, we do know that they actually rank 6th in the WNBA. Now, they actually have a record that puts them in the 3rd spot as well in the Eastern Conference. Now they have a record of 21 wins and 18 losses. That's a 53.8% win percentage, and on top of that, they are 11-9 from home, 10-9 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So, pretty interesting to see there. Now, obviously, coming into this matchup, they face off against the Valkyries, as we've mentioned, and Valkyries do rank 8th in the WNBA. Not only do they rank 8th in the WNBA, but they also do rank 5th in the Western Conference, which is interesting to see. And on top of that, they have a record of 20 wins, 18 losses, a 52.6% win percentage, also 11-7 at home, 9-11 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So, for that reason, we do very much like the actual, situation here for the under for Kelsey Mitchell. And that is because when we look at Golden State Valkyries, we do know that they actually rank 3rd when it comes to points allowed. So Valkyries have shown time and time again that they are a fantastic team defensively. And that's why coming into this next matchup, we do very much like the under for this one. Now, looking at someone like Kelsey Mitchell, we do also know when it comes to, Kelsey, she is a guard, and Golden State Valkyries actually do a very great job at restricting, points to the guard position. So, for that reason, we do very much like the actual under for this one. So, definitely keep an eye out for Kelsey Mitchell. When we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So, that works out in our favor there. So, definitely keep an eye out for Kelsey. So, Kelsey Mitchell, 20.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Rakia Jackson. So, Rakia Jackson, great player, as we all know. And when we look at, Rakia, we do also know she has done a great job so far this season, actually averaging, a good amount of points. However, for this pick, we're going to be going with 16.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Rakia Jackson, we actually have seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one's a fantastic one because when we look at Rakia, we have seen on August 16th, faced off against Dallas, had 15 points there. August 18th, faced off against Washington Mystics, had 17 points. Then August 21st, faced off against Dallas, had 25 points. August 27th, faced off against Phoenix, had 21 points. And then August 30th, faced off against Indiana and had 8 points there. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Rakia Jackson, we definitely have seen her do a fantastic job. And coming into this one, however, like we always mention, we are more about per matchup, and each matchup is definitely different. Now, when it comes to Rakia Jackson, before we get into the matchup, I do also have to mention that her average over the last 5 is 17.2. So yes, it is slightly above this line, but looking at Rakia, we actually do know Los Angeles Sparks have themselves a very, very good matchup against Washington Mystics. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game between both of these teams. Now, looking at where Los Angeles Sparks and Washington Mystics both rank, starting off with Sparks, we do know Sparks do come in at the 9th spot in the actual WNBA. Now, not only do they have or rank 9th in the WNBA, but they also have a record of 17 wins, 20 losses, and on top of that, that also puts them in the 6th spot in the Western Conference. Now, they have a record of a 45.9% win percentage. They also 7-12 from home, 10-8 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. Now, looking at this matchup, we do know Sparks face off against Washington Mystics, where Mystics do actually rank 10th in the actual WNBA. Now, not only do they rank 10th, but they rank 4th in the Eastern Conference. That puts them with 16 wins and 24 losses. That's a 40% win percentage, and are 10-10 from home, 6-14 from away, and are currently on a 6-game losing streak. So it definitely has been tough for Washington Mystics. And looking, however, at Washington Mystics defensively, we do know Mystics do rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. So why do we like the under for this situation here? And a big reason is that when we actually look at Washington Mystics, we do know that they actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to Rakia Jackson's position. So coming into this game, we do very much like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Rakia going on the under due to the fact that when we look at this matchup, we do also see that, looking at Rakia when it comes to, how she has played as of recent. Yes, she did face off against Washington Mystics recently and actually had 17 points. So yes, she did slightly go over on her line. That wasn't really that convincing enough to us, but what we are expecting is that when it comes to this next one, Washington Mystics are going to make those adjustments and try to have her finally go on the under in this next one. So, like I always mentioned, there will be times where players beat their, more probable outcome, and that was definitely one of those games. So as we mentioned, Rakia Jackson for 16.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Aliyah Boston. So Aliyah Boston, great player. Now, this one is for 8.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Aliyah Boston, we have seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. August 18th, faced off against Connecticut, actually had 13 rebounds there. August 23rd, faced off against Minnesota, had 6 rebounds. August 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had 7 rebounds. Then August 27th, faced off against Seattle, had 9 rebounds, and then August 30th faced off against Los Angeles Sparks and had 11 rebounds there. So we have actually seen Aliyah Boston actually do a fantastic job at, actually getting rebounds in some games, and other games not really too well. Now, when we look at actually her average over the last 5, it is 9.2, so slightly above this line. And as we all do know, Indiana Fever do face off against Golden State Valkyries. Now, we have already recently touched on this, matchup, but just quickly remind you again, Indiana Fever do come in at the 6th spot in the WNBA. Now, they do have a record of 21 wins and 18 losses, but also have a 4-6 record over the last 10 games. So they haven't really been on the winning side as of lately. So coming into this next one, it's definitely going to be an interesting one for sure. Now, looking at this matchup, we do also know that they face off against Golden State Valkyries, where Valkyries do rank 8th in the WNBA, but also rank 5th in the actual Western Conference. They have a record of 20-18. However, over the last 10 games, they actually had a record of 6-4. So they are actually doing a little bit better over the last 10 games compared to Indiana. Now, when we look at Valkyries, We do also know when it comes to their actual, defensive abilities, when it comes to the rebounding sector, we do know Valkyries rank 6th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they are actually a really, really decent team at restricting rebounds. As we mentioned before, they're great at restricting points. And coming into this one, we do very much like the under for this situation here, as when we look on a per position basis, we also do see that Golden State Valkyries actually do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the center position. Now, Aliyah Boston does sometimes play center, sometimes plays forward. However, we tend to see her play more of that center role. And on top of that, we also do know Valkyries actually do a great job at restricting rebounds to the forward position as well. So it kind of works out in our favor there. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also are favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So Aliyah Boston, 8.5 rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player going to be talking about is none other than Cameron Brink. So as you all know, Cameron Brink, great player from none other than actually Los Angeles Sparks. And she's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 5.5 points, 4.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, and also 0.6 steals. So we definitely have seen her do a fantastic job there for Los Angeles Sparks. And as we all know, Sparks do have themselves a very good matchup against none other than Washington Mystics. Now it is definitely going to be an exciting game there, but looking at where both these teams do rank, obviously starting off with Sparks, we have seen Sparks struggle quite a little bit when it actually comes to, their actual ranking, because they do come in at the 9th spot in the WNBA. So it's definitely been a little bit tough for them there. Now they do actually currently rank 6th in the Western Conference, which is interesting to see. And on top of that, they have a record of 17 wins and 20 losses. So that's a 45.9% win percentage. They're also 7-12 from home, 10-8 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So it is pretty interesting to see there on what they have done so far. And obviously they do face off against none other than Washington Mystics, where Mystics are not too far off, because Mystics do actually rank 10th in the WNBA. Not only do they rank 10th in the WNBA, but they also rank 4th in the actual Eastern Conference. They have a record of 16 wins and 24 losses. That's a 40% win percentage. And on top of that, we also do know that they are 10-10 from home, 6-14 from away, and are currently on a 6-game losing streak. So it's definitely been a little bit tough for, Washington Mystics and also Sparks. Both teams have definitely struggled quite a little bit, but looking at this matchup, we do also see when it comes to, Los Angeles, they face off against Mystics, and Mystics defensively do actually rank 8th in points allowed, 8th in assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed. We also do see that they rank 2nd. So surprisingly, they do rank a little bit higher in that rebounding category. However, for someone like Cameron Brink, we do actually very much like the under for this situation here, but strictly just for rebounds. Now, as I mentioned before, obviously Mystics do rank a little bit worse in points and assists, so that's why we end up staying away from those two categories. But when we actually look at, Cameron Brink in the rebounding department, yeah, she does have a decent usage rate, but she is a forward, and Mystics also do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the forward position, on top of just overall do a great job at restricting it. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this one. Now, when we also look, we also do know when it comes to, Cameron Brink over the last 5 games, we do see something pretty interesting, because we do see, last 5 games on the 16th faced off against Dallas Wings, had a 97-96 win with 3 points, 7 rebounds, and 0 assists there. After that, on the 18th faced off against Washington Mystics, had a 95-86 loss with 0 points, 2 rebounds, and 0 assists there. On the 21st, faced off against Dallas, had an 81-80 win in that matchup, and also had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 0 assists. Against Phoenix, faced off, had a 92-84 loss with 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then also on another game against Indiana Fever, had a 76-75 loss with 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at, someone like Cameron Brink, we have actually seen her face off against the Mystics recently. And in that matchup, yes, she did go under on her rebounding line. And that's why coming into this next one, we do very much like the under for this situation here. So I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this situation for someone like Cameron Brink. We definitely have seen her, yes, do well in certain categories and in certain games, but with a more tougher matchup in the rebounding department, such as Washington Mystics, we are definitely liking the under for this situation here. So keep an eye out for the under for this, for Cameron Brink's rebounding line. Now getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Janelle Salaun. Now, as you all know, Janelle, great player from none other than actually Golden State Valkyries. Now, she's actually done a fantastic job so far this season, actually averaging 10.6 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. So we definitely have seen her do a fantastic job there. Now, as you all know, when it actually comes to Janelle, we do know Valkyries have themselves a matchup against Indiana Fever. It is definitely going to be an exciting one, but also looking at, where they actually do rank or how they've actually done so far. Starting off with the Valkyries. Valkyries have unfortunately fallen quite a little bit when it comes to their ranking. They used to rank a little bit better, but they do come in at the 8th spot in the actual, WNBA, which also puts them in the 5th spot in the Western Conference. So pretty interesting to see there. Now, on top of that, we also do know they have a record of 20 wins and 18 losses. That's a 52.6% win percentage. And on top of that, they are 11-7 at home and 9-11 from away, and are also currently on a 2-game win streak. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone, like Janelle and Golden State Valkyries, they have done pretty decent, but have definitely gone a little bit on the shorter side as of lately. Now, when we actually look at their matchup, they face off against none other than actually Fever, as we mentioned, and Fever do rank 6th in the actual WNBA. Now, not only do they rank 6th in the WNBA, but on top of that, we also do see that they rank 3rd in the Eastern Conference. So they have done a great job when it comes to their actual, conference in general. But when we look at their matchup, we do know when it comes to, their record, they have a record of 21 wins and 18 losses. That's actually a 53.8% win percentage, 11-9 from home, 10-9 from away, and are currently on a actual 2-game win streak. So, Indiana Fever are looking to continue to try to push the limit and try to continue to get in the higher ranks. But looking also at Fever coming into this matchup, we do know defensively Fever ranked 9th in points allowed. On top of that, they also rank when it comes to assists allowed, they rank 3rd, and then rebounds allowed, they do rank 3rd as well. So we actually have seen, Indiana Fever fallen a little bit when it comes to restricting points. However, their rebounding and assists has definitely remained very well. Now, coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for someone like Janelle, however, strictly just for rebounds and assists. Now, this one is just kind of a no-brainer to us, as we've mentioned, because when we also look at Janelle and also the Valkyries, we do know Fever do not only just rank really good at restricting rebounds and assists, but also do a great job at restricting those things to the actual forward position, which is what Janelle is. So that's why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Coming into this matchup, we do also see when it comes to Janelle over the last 5 games, you see on the 18th, faced off against Atlanta, had a 79-63 loss with 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist there. On the 20th, faced off against Phoenix Mercury, had a 98-91 loss with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 0 assists. On the 23rd, faced off against Phoenix Mercury, had an 81-72 loss with actually 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Then on the 25th, faced off against Dallas, had a 90-81 win with 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists there. And then on the 31st, faced off against Washington, had a 99-62 win with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist there. So definitely keep an eye out for Janelle for the under, but like I mentioned, strictly just for rebounds and assists. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Shakira Austin from Washington Mystics. So as you all know, there is only 2 games in WNBA, so that's why there are some overlaps when it comes to the players we have mentioned in this video, because there is only 2 games. But looking at this matchup, we do know Shakira Austin has done a great job. 12.9 points she's averaged, 6.4 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and also 1.2 steals. So she's done a great job throughout the regular season, and as we all know, Mystics face off against Sparks. Now, we have already touched on this, but just to quickly remind you again, Mystics do rank 10th in the WNBA, but also do rank actually 4th in the Eastern Conference. Now, they they have a record of 16 wins and 24 losses. That's a 40% win percentage. They're also 10-10 from home, 6-14 from away, and are currently on a 6-game losing streak. Now, when it comes to actually Mystics, we do know that they face off against none other than actually, LA Sparks, and LA Sparks do actually rank 9th in the WNBA, as we've mentioned. Now, they do have a record of 17 wins and 20 losses. However, over the last 10 games, they actually have a record of 5-5, which is interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one, but looking at, where Shakira Austin and also, LA Sparks do rank, we also do see LA Sparks rank 13th when it comes to points allowed, 12th when it comes to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed, they do rank 5th. So they do rank a little bit better in that actual rebounding category. However, for someone like Shakira Austin, we do very much like the over for this situation here. Now, we don't really think you need to focus on whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. We definitely see someone of, Shakira Austin's nature to be able to go on the over in any of these situations due to the fact that she's definitely just done a fantastic job at actually, having a good usage rate in all 3 departments. Now, for someone like Shakira Austin, she's definitely just been beating her averages and really remaining a high usage rate there. Now, although Sparks do rank pretty decent, we don't really see it being enough in order to stop someone like Shakira, who has been on quite a good roll as of lately. Now, when we look also at this matchup and look at also Shakira last 5 matchups, we do see on the 22nd faced off against Connecticut Sun, had a 67-56 loss there with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 0 assists. Then on the 24th faced off against Las Vegas Aces. Now, in that matchup, actually had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists there. On the 25th, faced off against Seattle Storm, had 30 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. After that, actually faced off against New York Liberty on the 29th and actually had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists there. Then on the 31st, faced off against Golden State Valkyries, had a 99-62 loss with 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists there. So it has definitely been interesting for, Shakira Austin so far this season. We definitely have seen her do a fantastic job, in these matchups, and we are expecting her to do a similar situation or have a similar outcome coming into this next one. So definitely keep an eye out for Shakira coming into this matchup, no doubt about it. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Natasha Howard. So, as we all know, Natasha Howard, great player from none other than Indiana Fever. We do know she has done a fantastic job so far this season, actually averaging 11.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and also 1.2 steals. So, she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at this matchup, we do know Natasha Howard in Indiana Fever. Looking at this matchup against Golden State Valkyries and looking at where both these teams do rank, obviously we do know Fever do rank 6th in the WNBA and 3rd in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 21 wins and actually 18 losses, but on top of that, we also do know that they have a record over the last 10 games of 4-6. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also see when it comes to, Golden State Valkyries. Valkyries rank 8th in the WNBA, 20 wins, 18 losses. However, over the last 10 games, actually have a record of 6-4. So they definitely have done a fantastic job there. Now, looking at this matchup, it is definitely going to be interesting to see because we have also seen when it comes to Natasha Howard and Indiana Fever, we have definitely seen, this matchup be a very, very intense one. From past games or from past times they have versed each other. And looking at Valkyries defensively, Valkyries do rank 3rd in points allowed, 4th when it comes to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed. They also do rank 6th. So Valkyries actually rank very, very well when it comes to restricting points, rebounds, and assists. And that's one of the big reasons why we do like the under for this situation here. Although Indiana Fever are experiencing quite a few, when it actually comes to, quite a few injuries with Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark. Although that is the case, we haven't really seen someone like Natasha Howard's usage rate change that much due to the fact that, she has a role for this team. She is more of a forward rather than Clark, who's mainly a guard. So it doesn't really affect her that greatly in a positive or even negative manner. But coming into this one, we do also see when it comes to Natasha Howard and also their matchup, We do see when it comes to her last 5 games, you see on the 18th, faced off against Connecticut Sun, had a 99-93 win with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist there. On the 23rd, faced off against Minnesota, had a 95-90 loss with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist in that matchup. Then on the 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had a 97-84 loss with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists there. Then on the 27th, faced off against Seattle Storm, had a 95-75 win with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists there. Then on the 30th, faced off against LA Sparks, had a 76-75 win with 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists there. So it has been pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone, like Natasha Howard, we definitely have seen her do a fantastic job time and time again. But coming into this one, we do very, very much like the actual, under for this situation here for someone like Natasha.